I'm Brigham Larson with Brigham Larson Pianos. This is a 1970 Astin Waite, which I've refurbished and slash rebuilt. Tons of these Astin Waites over the years, and I really like them. This is kind of cool. They're manufactured in Salt Lake City. There are some pianos that I've seen over the years that list Salt Lake City either on the plate or somewhere on the piano, but those are what are called white labels. White label goes back over 100 years, and so that's what those are. They're manufactured elsewhere with kind of a generic. They're just generic pianos, and then Salt Lake dealers might put their sticker on them. Basically, this is not the case on Astin Waite. Astin Waite was manufactured in downtown Salt Lake. As far as I know, the only manufacturer of pianos in Salt Lake. So that's pretty cool, and they're good. They're really good, and they're unique, and they might be the most experimental in many ways of any piano manufacturer that I know. They've done all sorts of crazy things, like they've done a kind of an inverse soundboard that I won't get into in this video. They've done some things with only attaching the soundboard on three of the four sides of the perimeter, kind of like a floating soundboard. They've done some things with A-graphs on bridges. They've done all sorts of experimental things, which you know, as kind of a piano nerd, wannabe piano engineer, I just really admire about Astin Waite. I think they went out on a limb on many experimental designs, and for the most part, they were winning designs. So hats off to these guys, Astin and Waite. So and I see, by the way, I see quite a few of them out there still today, and whenever I see one, I generally like to jump on it and get it here and refurbish it, because they're just fun, and they kind of like the Baldwin Acrosonic. They're often smaller pianos like this one. What is this one? 42 inches, 41 inches, something like that. And in spite of their smaller stature, they've got a real presence. So let's check out the inside. We've done a complete refurbishing on this piano. We've also refinished it. It was not originally black, but we do a really nice job. And for that, hats off to our refinishing division. They really work hard and do good work. So this piano is, before I show you the inside, let's just get a shot of how good this piano looks cosmetically. This is not paint, by the way. This is a black tinted lacquer, very smooth. Doesn't feel like paint where it feels like a wall or something. This is it feels like a piano. Well, like these pianos that are done in the factory that are super smooth and beautifully done. So cosmetically, this piano is definitely an A. And then functionally, so the piano, like I said, is 1970 originally, but we've done a complete refurbish on it. So that's everything from reshaping hammers, realigning hammers, lubricating all of the action, tightening everything up, full regulation. Regulation is a very broad term that goes all the way from leveling the keys. You can see the keys are perfectly level, to ensuring that the distance you can depress the key is correct, to have a look in here, to the distance from the hammer to the string. That's a very specific distance. To the distance to the hammer when it pulls away from the string like that. You can see that it pulls away at 1/8 of an inch of the string. They all should do that. Yep. They just get close, and then they get a little pop at 1/8 of an inch. That's correct regulation. And then the amount that the key continues to travel after that pop occurs, that let off or escapement occurs, is a very specific distance that hammer, or that key continues to travel. There's about a dozen, or I don't know, maybe 15 or so different specs that have to be just right on. There's a very broad range of what will function in a piano, And so a piano that's 10 years old or 20 or 30 years old or something, it will function, but it's not functioning correctly, especially by that 20-year mark. It's not going to be functioning correctly. But when things are refurbished and repinned and regulated and redone like we've done on this one, they should be pretty close to brand new as far as functioning. Should be functioning basically like it was when it was brand new in 1970. And so you can continue that cycle. You can do that cycle every 20 to 25 years that pianos need to be refurbished like that. You can do that maybe another 1 or 2 times. And by the time they get really old, like those pianos over there in the mirrors, when they get 100 years old, or in some cases 140 years old, they no longer can just be simply refurbished, but they need to be entirely rebuilt. So that's wholesale replacement of parts. Like hammers and strings. This piano is nowhere near that, but refurbishing was definitely in order, like any other piano that's over 10 years old, 20 years old, 25 for sure. Okay, so let's hear it, what I'm talking about with that larger than usual presence. I'm really feeling kind of a rumble in that bass, which you don't usually feel from a piano this size. That's a good little piano, and I think some family is gonna have a lot of fun with this Salt Lake original.